Okay, so I asked you with the nickels and pennies to try to create one of these hyper uniform distributions, and here's what you guys made. So how? What were you doing? What did you do to make this with our pennies and nickels?
Well, we kind of saw that there's kind of a nickel clump and a penny clump, so we had to
Just mix them together
first, and then we can spread them out.
to make sure that they weren't like big clumps of nickels and pennies. And then we got rid of all the big clumps of pennies. Actually, the big clumps of nickels because there's less nickels.
Yeah, and then we made just adjustments, and then we got here.
Okay, so we started out with two piles because of just the way we were dealing with pennies before. So the nickels, I think, were over here,
Yeah.
and the pennies were over there. And then what's the first thing you did?
So we just mixed the two piles together.
Okay, how?
We just basically took the two piles, smushed them.
Why your head back?
Oh. We took the two piles and smushed them together and sort of spread them all out over the whiteboard.
Huh, cool. All right. And what were you looking for after that?
And then we were trying to eliminate all the big clumps of nickels and also make sure that none of them were too close together and that there weren't any voids to fill.
Huh, okay. Now, do you see any clumps that are left of either pennies or nickels? Do you see any spaces where there's kind of lots of pennies and not very many nickels, or lots of nickels and not very many pennies?
There's like this big clump here.
That could possibly. Oh, we have 3 nickels over here. Put a nickel there.
Could also sort of break that clump up.
Okay, interesting.
Switch. Well, we can't get it perfectly right because we have more nickels than we have more pennies than we do nickels.
We have like twice as many.
So there's
pennies.
going to be some clumps of pennies.
Okay.
Just because of the amount of pennies we have.
It's neat. So, are there patterns in your pennies?
No,
Not really.
not that we can see.
All right. Are there patterns in your nickels?
No, not that we can see.
Does this look like a random? Like if you just drop the pennies and nickels on here totally at random, do you think this is what it would look like?
No, because there would be some empty spaces, and there would be some spaces that would be bunched together.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about, so that's with the whole distribution altogether. What about with just the pennies, say? What do you think the pennies would look like all by themselves?
Oh, there would be kind of empty spaces and then clumps. Because without the nickels, it kind of looks like clumps.
So yeah, so interesting. So you've done a nice job kind of making this look like some of the pictures in the article.
Yeah.
And it's actually pretty cool to think that here's something, pretend this is what the chicken eyes look like. And the biologists didn't know sort of what that pattern was. And then eventually, after talking to some other people, they learned that this pattern has been studied by mathematicians and studied by physics people and studied by chemistry people. And it shows up in a lot of different places.
Cool.
And yeah, it's still one of the things that people are learning about now. Good job today, guys. Good work.